Hey, welcome to The Explainer. In a part of the world that's all about rugged mountains and, let's be honest, constantly shifting alliances, there's one force that stands guard. Today, we are diving deep into Pakistan's Frontier Corps, a paramilitary group with a really complex past and an absolutely critical mission today. So, just think about this for a second. Who actually patrols one of the most volatile, most challenging borders on the entire planet? We're talking about the place where Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Iran all come together. I mean, who handles a job like that? Well, that would be the Frontier Corps, or the FC. And right off the bat, you've got to know this isn't just one single organization. Nope, it's actually a collection of four distinct paramilitary forces. Their whole area of operation covers two huge provinces, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Balochistan, and their main gig? Securing those incredibly vast and difficult borders. Okay, now let's clear something up right away, because this gets confusing for a lot of people. You're going to hear the letters FC thrown around for two totally different groups. On one side, you've got the Frontier Corps. That's the paramilitary force we're talking about, and it's led by Army officers. But on the other side, there's the Frontier Constabulary, and that's a police force led by police officers. They have the same initials, I know, but they are fundamentally different organizations with completely separate missions. All right, so let's get into the history. How did this force even come to be? Believe me, its origins tell you a ton about its structure and what it does today. The whole story starts way back in 1907, during British rule. A guy named Lord Curzon decided to pull together a bunch of local militias into a more organized group. Fast forward to Pakistan's independence and the force gets bigger. But the 1970s, that was a game changer. For the very first time, the FC was sent to operate inside the country against insurgents in Balochistan. And that really set the stage for its biggest role yet. In the 2000s, it became a central player, right on the front lines of the war on terror. That role pretty much defines it to this day. So, with a history like that, what does their mission look like now? Well, to put it mildly, it's a lot. Their official job description today is just massive. It's so much more than just watching a border. They're doing everything from full-on counterinsurgency and fighting smugglers to just helping out local police. It's this huge range of duties that really kind of blurs the line between what you think of as a military force and a domestic police agency. And if you want to get a sense of the scale here, just look at the manpower. Back in 2017, the Frontier Corps had about 70,000 troops, and you can bet that number has only gone up since then. And of course, a force that big needs a serious budget. For 2024, we're talking about 105 billion Pakistani rupees. A number like that tells you everything you need to know about how vital the FC is to the country's security strategy. Now, this is where the command structure gets really interesting and, well, unique. Officially, on paper, the FRC reports to the Civilian Ministry of Interior. But in the real world, its top commanders are all two-star generals who are just on loan from the Pakistan Army. So you've got this fascinating and pretty complex mix of civilian and military control. As you can imagine, this kind of history and this hybrid structure have led to a very, very complicated legacy. We're talking controversial both inside Pakistan and on the world stage. So on the ground, this has meant a really tense relationship with some of the local communities. Our sources show that the force can be deeply unpopular, especially in Balochistan, where many people associate it with a long history of pretty heavy-handed security operations. But here's the twist, and this is what's so interesting. While that's the perception for some locals, the international strategic view has been completely different. For years, U.S. military and intelligence experts actually saw the FDA as the single most effective force for fighting insurgents. Why? Well, precisely because its soldiers are recruited locally, so they know the terrain, they know the culture, they know the people. And that strategic view? It came with a lot of money. Between 2002 and 2007, the United States sent over $7 billion in military aid to Pakistan. A massive chunk of that cash was funneled directly to the Frontier Corps to equip them for that crucial frontline mission. Okay, so where does the Frontier Corps go from here? Well, if you look at the signs, everything points to them playing an even bigger role in Pakistan's future. In fact, that expansion is already happening. Dozens of new wings, which are basically battalion-sized units, have been created recently, and there are even more in the works. The goal here is pretty straightforward: tighten up security and get more control along that critical western border. Which brings us right to our final thought. You've got this force that was born in the colonial era, was totally reshaped by independence, got hardened by years of insurgency, and then was funded to be a key partner in the war on terror. In a region that is defined by nonstop change, the one huge question that's left is, what role will this century-old force play next?